What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be doing a little strategy breakdown of one of the things that I use in my strategy, and it is a super simple concept. It's a super simple strategy that you can use, and I have used it to make a lot of money, as you guys can see by this screenshot that I have from one of my months here. This month I pretty much only used this one simple trick, and it's made me a lot of money. And this month was across 500 accounts, I made around, $35,000 times 5 accounts in 15 days. So, I mean, proof doesn't lie. You know, you can't fake this shit. Just this basic concept. It's literally just one thing that you can use in your everyday trading, and it will save you a lot of stress. It'll save you a lot of time. It'll save you a lot of losses. I'm gonna go ahead and get into it really quick, and yeah, just show you guys exactly what it is, how to use it, and stuff like that. Okay, so first off, you might be looking at my chart and saying, all right, what the hell is going on? But let me explain. So what we are looking at specifically is these blue lines right here. Okay, what am I talking about? I'm talking about initial balance. Initial balance is the high and low of the first hour of market open. I've used this so many times, and it saved me so many losses, so much stress, and effort in the charts, because it's just so simple. And I'll show you guys some examples of how it works and stuff like that. You guys will really understand how simple it is, okay? So going into the day, my indicator already puts this on the screen for me, so I don't have to mark it out. But if you want to mark it out, you can mark out the high and the low of the first hour of market open. So it is from 9:30 Eastern to 10:30. So we can go ahead and take a look from the window of 9:30 to 10:30, right? We mark this out. Boom, we mark out the high, and then we mark out the low, which was this. This was a swing low in this case. So let's take a look at this, right? We have a initial move down, we have a pullback into this price leg, and then we dump. We take this low. We do the same thing here. So what can I base this off of? I can base this off of multiple things. Whatever strategy you use, it does not matter. You can still play this based off of anything, okay? So if I think that this is going to be the low for the 1 hour window, right, I can mark this as my initial balance low, and I can mark this as my initial balance high. So if you think price is going to continue higher, then you would trade up to this high, and if you think it's going to go lower, then you would trade down to the low. And the cool thing is with this, I have a statistic on this. So on Mondays, there's an 84% chance that we will break the high or the low in New York AM session. I love to use that in Confluence as well. But you could have taken anything like this. You could have taken a short off here, and then something like this. I typically do like a 20 to 30 point stop. 30 points would probably be better, maybe 40 in this case, because it was pretty volatile today. So 40 point stop, and then TP at the low. This is a 4-to-1 risk to reward, and I would just size really heavy on the trades that I really thought that were going to hit, and I knew my draw was correct. So as you can see, like, I would have big days. I would take a lot of trades. I would take a lot of small losses, or small break evens, and then that one big trade would eat up everything if I did take a loss. As you can see right here, 3K, 4K, and then on these days I'd go break even. I'd lose some trades. Big days, 5K, 8K, 1K, 1K, 7K. So all of this is all relative, and you can get break even, such as this. If you were to take a short here and go for this low, you'd get break even right here. In the overall grand scheme of things, we can use this as a draw on liquidity, as a super simple draw on the day. So let's go back and check out another day. We'll go back to something like this. So in this case, we are waiting for 10:30 to form, and it forms right here, right? So we can use initial balance to help us find our draw. So in this case, it's pretty obvious that we've taken out these lows, and we want to move higher, right? So this example was another good one. We have a very choppy AM session, but we still have this bullish range right here. What are we waiting for? We're waiting for a pullback into OTE off of the manipulation leg. So this is where I marked out my fib. What am I seeing here? I'm seeing chop, 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 nothing. It did not take the high yet. So I wouldn't really take anything here because it's such a, small range. But once we get back into here and we pull back into this manipulation leg into 618, you could enter off something like this with a 30-point stop and target the high. Boom, equal highs right there. We have an 81% chance that we will take that high. And boom, as you can see, it plays out eventually. It's a very slow day that day, but we end up hitting at around 1:20 p.m. So if you don't mind holding trades, if you don't mind waiting, it's perfect for you. 5.2 to 1 risk to reward on this. Let's go back on another day and check it out. So as you can see, on a day like this, we have multiple levels stacked on top of each other. We have an obvious trend. We are in an obvious bullish trend right here, right? We come down pre-market, we sweep these lows, and then as soon as market opens, we rip to the upside, okay? Now, what do we do after this? We manipulate back down into OTE of this range, right? Boom, we mark this out. 618's here, 705's here. We have two stacked levels. We have true day open right here, as well as this bottom band of VWAP. We have everything lining up perfectly in this range. So what can I say? I can confidently say that even though 1030 did not form yet, we still have this high inbound, we still have this low inbound, and we are respecting these levels. We are respecting a bullish trend. So what can I do? I can look for a long off of this level, 30-point stop, targeting the high, okay? Even though it hasn't formed yet, we can still bank on that happening, okay? We play this out, and we immediately, oh, actually not immediately, let's extend this out. We go and take that high, and we hit TP, another 5 to 1 risk to reward. We're waiting for OTE to get hit. We're waiting for any other confluence that you use in your trading strategy, and we're waiting for a good entry to target the high or the low of choice. Okay, if you are in a bullish bias, you are obviously looking for the high to get taken, and if you're in a short bias, then you're looking for the low to get taken. It's pretty self-explanatory. You just have to use bias, you have to use your entry model, you have to use everything in Confluence. For me, I just use OTE and standard deviation and stuff like that, but for some people, you might use fair value gaps, you might use something like that. But every strategy, you know, aligns with this because it is just basically finding your draw on liquidity, but in a different form, right? We have a stat right here. Either this high or low is going to get taken. So what is most likely to happen in this scenario? We have a bullish manipulation leg. We pull back into OTE. We get a good reaction off that. You could have entered again right here, and then boom, we go and take the highs. So again, it's pretty self-explanatory. There's not much else to cover on this, but I do want to cover one more thing. So I just showed you 3 examples of what happens in New York AM session. Now I'm going to be showing you some examples of what happens in Asia session. So Asia session opens at 8 p.m. EST. Okay, so we can go to 8 p.m. and mark out the low. We can also use initial balance for this. Okay, we have this leg right here that pushes us down and makes this low after 8 p.m. Okay, then we fast forward. Boom, 9 p.m. opens. Now what can we do? We can mark out this high. Now it looks like we're in a bullish trend, right? Yes, it does. But if we play forward, we are obviously in a bullish trend. We play it, boom, 9 p.m. opens. We're not doing anything. And boom, what happens in this leg? What happens right here? We are in a bullish trend. We get a pullback. There's nothing going on right here. We don't really tap into OTE. Right, we have this manipulation leg. We only tap into 0.5. So if you did take that, you probably would have got break even or took a loss on that. But what happens after this leg happens? Okay, we pull back into OT of this range right here. As you can see, boom, 705 gets hit, and then we dump off this. Okay, so what am I looking for now? I'm looking for the low to get taken because we shifted structure. Okay, now you may have gotten, oh yeah, you could have gotten an entry right here somewhere in this pullback, maybe off VWAP or something. Or you could have waited. I don't know what happens here, but boom. Initial balance in Asia session is from 8 p.m. low, or the window from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m., the low and the high. So maybe you could have entered off this VWAP pullback right here, entered right there with a 20-point stop in Asia, right? It's a pretty loose trade. Still a 1.89 risk to reward. You could always trade this in Asia. It still works, right? It's not just because Asia's slower, you don't want to trade it or anything. The initial balance will work in the first hour open. I haven't really tested this much in London, but I know Asia session does print off this as well. My favorite personal session is AM because we do get that nice manipulation leg, and then we have typically a pullback into OTE of the range, and then initial balance just makes it 10 times easier for me to get an entry and, you know, move forward from there. But let's check out a few more examples. Okay, so this was a trade I actually did end up taking. Let's mark out our initial balance. This was based off multiple things, and I'll explain that in a second. So we have this high right here at 8 p.m. and we have this low right here at 9 p.m. So in this 1 hour window, right, from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. right here, the high, the low are put in, okay? What are we doing on a higher time frame? We are chopping, we're stalling at all-time highs, we are not doing anything. And then 6 p.m. opens, we come back up into OTE of this range and we dump. So what am I expecting from here? Am I expecting for us to move higher? No, I am not. I'm expecting us to follow the trend of the session and move lower, okay? Asia session open and dumped. We make our high, we make our low. We have no top wick at all, right? We have no reason to come up and push past this. We already pushed down. We're coming towards our draw on liquidity right here, which is this low. And if we zoom out to the left, we also have previous day low, which has a very good statistic on it as well. Okay, so I marked that out. There's previous day low right here as well, but this is the more prominent draw in my opinion. So we have these two lows marked out. Okay, what am I doing? I am waiting for 9 p.m. to form. So let's put this down into 1x speed. 9 p.m. somewhere around here. Boom, we're starting to get legs of the downside. What am I waiting for? I'm waiting for a good entry. As soon as these internal highs get swept, what am I doing? I'm entering off of it. So I literally entered about right here with my stops above this internal high right here. Actually, this was right up here. I'm lying. So initial balance was a great target. Yes, it was. You could have just taken it down to initial balance for a 3.4 to 1 risk to reward, but my draw on liquidity was down here. Okay, I was targeting this draw right here. My all-time draw was down here to previous day low, but I just didn't feel comfortable holding that trade that long. It was still a great risk to reward ratio. It was still a good trade to take, but I entered off this right here, off the internal sweep of this high. I had so much confluence going into this trade, I pretty much knew it was going to get hit. And boom, I got my entry right there. And let's speed this up a little bit. Boom, we immediately get a huge candle to the downside. We manipulate, and boom, we go and take the draw. And we keep dumping all the way to previous day low, okay? So again, I did not hold. I only held until this low right here, but you can use it in confluence as well, okay? You could either TP right at the initial balance low, or you could TP at a further draw if your draw is going in that direction. So I do not have the stat for Asia initial balance yet, but my indicator does have the stat for New York AM, which is pretty much typically what I only trade. But I'm starting to look at Asia more, and it's pretty clean, you know. And the only reason I waited on this trade, let me go over this a little bit. I waited because 9 p.m. was not formed yet, okay? I wanted to see a clean delivery to the downside. I wanted to see a better entry for myself, and I wanted to see, you know, everything in confluence to make me want to go short, okay? I'm looking at this saying, okay, I should only be trading this if I know this is going to happen, okay? And I was so confident in this draw getting taken down here that I just had to go in and, you know, go for it, because once this internal high gets swept, there's no reason for us to manipulate back above it. So what happens when we break the structure right here? Oops. What happens when we broke this low right here? Boom. My stops were immediately put to this high right here, which was literally 1.25 points. And that played out for I think it was a 55 to 1 risk to reward ratio. So that's the power of this, right? If you have your draw correct, which is what initial balance helps with, you can do so many things, okay? You can get sniper entries, you can, you know, get your draw correct every time, such as that month I had where I was all green, right? But the power of this tool is insane. I'm still backtesting it in Asia. I typically use it in New York AM, but it is still a crazy tool that I use often in my trading because it's just so simple and it's so easy to use. It just doesn't require any stress. It doesn't require any effort. It is basically just giving you a draw on liquidity with a statistic behind it, saying this is the statistic for this lower high to get taken in this day. Okay, so it's super simple. As long as you get a good entry and as long as you get a good target, you are fine, okay? You can go ahead and leave a comment on this video or apply to work with me one-on-one directly in the description of this video. And just a reminder for you guys, I'm doing a Lucid account giveaway and an Alpha account giveaway. So if you use code Evan in those, you will automatically get entered into the giveaways. All you have to do is go on Lucid, use code Evan, or Alpha, use code Evan, and you will automatically be entered in the giveaway. I'm giving away 3 50K Flex accounts on Lucid, and I'm giving away 2 premium plans on Alpha Futures. So if you're interested in winning a free account, go ahead and use code Evan right now. I'll leave those in the description as well, so you guys can go check that out and buy some accounts. Yeah, that'll pretty much wrap it up for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I really want to, emphasize the importance of this and show you guys that trading is not really that hard if you don't make it hard, okay? So with that being said, I'm going to wrap up the video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. All right, peace.